Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome everybody to, for the people outside of Saudi Arabia, welcome to Saudi Arabia. Welcome to the city of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and welcome to the first conference for King Abdul Aziz Assembly for Libraries. And inshallah today this is a main session where we will learn about the different experiences concerning libraries, archiving libraries in different parts of the world. We'll go to Africa with Dr. Garga, we'll go to Singapore with Ian Yap, and we'll also go to Cameroon with Dr. Garga as well, and Pakistan with Dr. Arshad, inshallah. We will start our session today with Ian Yap, and his talk will be about the library transformation in a digital world. And I think that this is a main topic at stake right now if we want to talk about the libraries and archiving it, not only for our generation, but for future generations with all those kind of medias that they are associated with. I'll give a brief about about Ian Yap, and he's currently working on the operations for more than 26 libraries in Singapore. He also leads the National Reading Movement program, and they have a lot of programs concerning reading, because if you have a library but with a nation that doesn't read, well, you're not into anywhere, right? He is also recently been in charge for so many campaigns. They have the National Reading Festival. They also have a National Reading Day. And in concerning the professional capacity, he's been the regional manager for Asia and Oceania Regional Office of the International Federation of Library and Associations and Institutions. He's also the chief of the Professional Development Library for the Ministry of Education, and he's also the head of Children's Services for the public libraries. He's also working on a certain great movement in Singapore, which is the cross-reading and book crossing movement, and they also have a very interesting campaign going on. It's reading for the busy readers. So I think he's going to talk about it, and it's titled Read and Reap, just like park and ride, right? So it's mainly the same thing. So we're all ears to hear your talk.
Thank you for that great introduction. I'm so honored to be here today amongst colleagues, and I'm glad that I can have this opportunity to share with you the transformation journey that our National Library Board of Singapore has gone through. Right, but before I start on the different strategies, I was thinking I should give you a bit of context to how the Singapore landscape is like before I start. Singapore, it's a very small city. We only have 4.5 million residents. Now, I heard that if you took a plane from one point of Saudi Arabia to the other point, is about 4 hours by plane. But in Singapore, you go from one point to the other, it's 1 hour by car. All right, it's that small. And in order to accommodate a lot of our residents, we build tall buildings, or we dig underground, or we buy sand for land reclamation, right? So in the context of this is that we are a small city, a very vibrant and busy city. And in that, how do we serve our residents? We have 26 public libraries. We have a National Library and the National Archives. So this is a unique marriage of 3 different entities under the National Library Board. We have our own mandates, but we work as one to forward our individual library goals, right? So this is our mission and vision. The main aim is that we want people to read for life, right? We start from young, and then we want them to continue reading till they are old. And we want more and more communities to be formed so that sharing can happen. And this is translated into our mission, where we really want knowledge to not just be there for you, but it comes alive. And we want people to co-create and make things possible with the knowledge that they have. And for a small city, we are very busy for our libraries. If you look at that, we have 33 million loans a year. That translates to about 8 per person. And if you look at the visitorship, it's about 26 million in 1 year. And that means someone comes to the library about 6 times a year. We have a lot of feedback that our spaces are always overcrowded. We try our best to develop different strategies where we build libraries with the communities so they run them on their own. So access is strengthened. Right, we came out with our own survey tool, and this is to see what the reach is like. Basically, because when someone walks into the library, we don't really know who they are at this point in time. We are looking at technologies with AI and all that to decipher what the unique rates. But this particular survey goes to the ground and finds out how many residents actually come into our doors, use our services, whether it's online or physical. And with this tool, we found that in 2015, we weren't doing very well. It was only half the population that was really using our libraries. And it was really for those that were below 30 years old, all right? And with adults that had families. So the children were doing very well. They're coming to our libraries. Parents and their children were doing it. But for the seniors, for working adults, okay, I hope it lasts. Right, for seniors and adults, they weren't really coming to use our libraries. So we developed master plans, a national reading movement, to try and boost that. And that was launched in 2016. And what happened? In 2017, our reach went up tremendously to 81%. Last year, it was 80%. And we are very happy with these results. Okay, so in a nutshell, this is where we are in our library space. And we looked into it. How do we then transform our libraries? One of the things was to take into account what the internal as well as external environment would be like, right? And we wanted to seize opportunities in that sense. So this is what the trade winds are like, okay? If you look at it, what's coming towards us is that, there's a rise of the millennials. They are totally digitally interconnected. They're on social media all the time. They want information to come to them very quickly, all right? And then we see that, with better medical science, people are living longer. There are longer life expectancy. So how do we then cater for people in their older age? And we also realize with different trade wars and what's happening in the world, there is potential economic downturn. So how do we ensure that there's constant employability for our workers? And you look at it, with technological disruption, with use of automation, AI, robotics, jobs are at risk. For jobs that are mundane, routine, these will go. And so how do we ensure that our citizens continually upskill themselves and ensure that they have a job in the future? Then we look at it. It's all not doom and gloom, but we also see that, there's 5G technology coming up, faster access to speed, larger amount of information going out, and also emergence of all sorts of new technologies. For Singapore, we are a very small nation with very little natural resources, and our main one is really people. And we realize that with technology, there are a lot of borderless markets. A lot of people are going online shopping anymore. You don't need to set up a brick and mortar station to sell your goods. You can sell it online. The legal service is also selling legal advice, documentation online. So really, the digital sphere is disrupting a lot of traditional economic areas. And at the same time, with digital being everywhere, we are also looking at how we can combat fake news, right? News that are out there that's not real. And of course, geopolitical tensions. And with us being a small country, we are affected by a lot. So we look at this and we say, okay, it's not doom and gloom. We take this and we look at the opportunities so that we can transform ourselves. And we look at all this, it's really at the crux of it, it's technology. Technology is driving all this change. And what do we want to do with this technology? It's not to say, okay, let's give up now, right? But to see how we can use technology to improve the quality of life of our citizens. And that is through the increase of our library experience. So our strategy goes into two parts. One main part is how do we make library services accessible, convenient. The other part is also how do we then look at the software. The programming is important because we don't want to just be a repository of books. We want to be a space that sparks learning and curiosity. So these are the two parts in which I'll take my presentation forwards. Okay, so the first one is how do we use technology to enhance our library experience? Okay, so this is our digital strategy. Our main aim for this really is how do we create new experiences? How do we draw new audiences like the millennials? We realize that there is this life cycle in terms of usage of libraries. People come in when they are very young. They are teenagers, they start using it, but once they start working, they drop off from the radar. A lot of them only come back when they start families and they're bringing their children in. So how do we cater to these busy adults? At the same time, how do we also then not depend on our physical spaces to deliver our services, but go beyond that? And the last, how do we improve our automation? How do we use more self-service methods so that people can serve themselves, so that our staff can upskill themselves and provide value-added services? All right, so how do we enhance our library users' experience? First of all we used to have a lot of physical newspapers and magazines. But more and more so, we are moving towards having digital stations. We have digital stations at all our libraries now where you can actually access magazines as well as e-newspapers. And this has saved a lot of costs in terms of manpower. With physical newspapers, you needed a lot of manpower to pack the newspapers, to destroy it, to move them from out, to archive them. And at the same time, with magazines, the same access as well as the load on the staff is there. But with digital, it's just a station. Once the library opens, it's automatically, all our stations are just boosted up, and then members of the public can use it. We were worried when the seniors were going to complain and said, no, I want my physical newspaper, that's what I'm used to. But what we did was we brought in a lot of volunteers. They were trained in talking to the seniors and explaining how the e-newspaper stations were to be used. And we transited and migrated to e-stations very easily with them. And now the seniors are enjoying it. They're telling us, hey, with this screen, I can expand the view. It's enjoyable. I don't have to wait in queue for different kinds of newspapers. Everything is at one station. I can spend my day reading all sorts of newspapers and magazines at one station. So that's how we have enhanced our experience for our librarians, for our library patrons. At the same time, we look at different kinds of technologies where we could then introduce 3D printing, coding, because we want to not just have technology there for technology's sake, but what we want is to move people through a learning journey where they learn different aspects of making, of co-creation, so they develop products. And along the way, they ask questions, the relevant questions in terms of how do I create different products. So that's where we introduce a lot of making and tinkering for all age groups. And at the same time, we also wanted to make storytelling come alive, right? Storytelling in the traditional way was a librarian holding a book, telling the story to the kids, but we have created immersive storytelling rooms. And these are what I would call an IMAX experience. You have projection all around you, you have the lights, you have the sound. When I say there's lightning and thunder, the whole room shakes. And so the kids are really immersed in the story and they're part of it. So that's what we want to create in terms of the new generation of storytelling. Then in that sense, how do we make our access to information as timely as possible? And this is how we do it. We want to migrate as many people as possible to use the mobile app. And with the mobile app, what you can do now is you don't need to go to a borrowing station to borrow your materials. You use your app, you scan it, it discharges the book. At the same time, it also allows you to walk through the security gates without it beeping. All right, you do your digital payments, you can pay your fines, you can actually register for events. At the same time, we are pumping a lot of money into buying new e-collections. And if you look at the end, we have the book maps, and that's where a lot of the feedback has come to us. I see that on my catalog station, this book is available on shelf, but when I go there, it's not there. What the book map tells you is that, there's a wayfinding. It shows you the map, it tells you where exactly the book is in the library space itself. So it's a mega piece that is just in one app. So we call it Library in Your Pocket. And moving onwards, we also want to increase a lot of more personalized reading, a lot of customization, more self-help options. And with the mobile app, we can give a lot more information. You go to a screen, we produce, we tell you this is the event coming up, this is the book we want to promote. All you need is your mobile app. You scan the QR codes and you get more information about it. And if you want to borrow, you want to register a program, it's done easily. At the same time, we want to move towards self-help. And why we want to do that is because we want our librarians, which are precious, to be able to develop more value-added services. With a lot of less self-help services, we used to have counters where people come to us and we serve them over the counter. But now, with all these different technologies, borrowing stations, the mobile app, our reservation lockers, auto sorters, we have done away with our counters. There's no need for people to come to us. Now our staff are going to people, right? Looking and seeing whether you need help. Can I introduce you to a new content rather than circulation services at the back end or at the counter itself?
We have less than 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll move on. So auto sorters help us in the book drops as well as moving things along. We've used robotics in terms of return. This saves us a lot of time and it's an auto checkout. Basically for this library, it's a big one and we wanted to have book drops on both ends, but it's very costly. So we only have our sorting stations at one end. And though we want Singaporeans to exercise and walk 200 meters to the other side, we decided convenience is important, and we built a robot to do that. This is a robot that does shelf reading. So in a sense, it does the stock taking. It tells you exactly where the books are misplaced. So in the morning, you get this whole churned out list, and our folks can then put them in the right places. And this has saved us a lot of time. Reservation lockers was the last mile in terms of how we can remove our counters. So you can pick up your reservations 24 hours. We've also have a lot more digital screens, and we use them to put it out in the community so that people can then access our resources anywhere in Singapore. We talk to a lot of partners. We also have Google Assistants, where Google Assistant, you can just ask for certain recommendations and so forth, and they will produce it for you. We have quizzes online. We work with television stations to put our videos out there. We have a citizen archivist project where really citizens are there to help give descriptions to many of our old photographs, which we didn't know where or what was it about. And then there's one search. Okay, this is the part where technology is one aspect, but we also wanted to look at the software, the programming. And we realized that, we took example from our government blueprints. The government saying we need to build deep skills in our people so that as employability, we need to ensure that, our citizens are digitally savvy so they can create new technologies and be able to have a better quality of life as well, right? And so what we did was we had programming to look into future skills and digital readiness. And these are not traditional areas. I mean, public libraries were known to be promoting leisure and entertainment, but now we're shifting that focus to look into how we can support government initiatives and really real skills that people need. So we have a diverse range of programs in our library spaces. And what was also important is that we also have clinics for seniors who can just bring their mobile phones to us and we'll tell them how to use them. All right, we build in more collections and we ensure that, everyone knows about info literacy and how to combat fake news. These are just some pictures of our revamped libraries for a taste. And with that, I thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ian. And now we're going to go to another part of the world. We're going to go to the Cameroon with Dr. Alim Garga. And he is the Vice President of the African Library and Information Associations and Institutions. So it's a very big thing. And he is also the Director of Library and Information Services at the National Assembly in the Cameroon. And he's also actually the President of the Cameroon Library Association. He got his many degrees from France, and he graduated in the Library of Science, also from the Senegal, and the BA in Public Administration from France. He also, Dr. Garga, has a BA in History from Lyon University in France and a master's degree in History as well from the same university. He also graduated with a degree in Political Science from the Institute of Political Studies. So I think he is everywhere when it comes to libraries in different parts of the world. And his main talk today will be about the African Library and Information Association and Institutions' efforts in strengthening the library sector to drive development. And just before you start, is it the development of the country or development of the people? I think that's a very important question, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get it from your presentation. So the floor is yours. Thank you. Of course, we'll have a Q&A section at the end of the third talk. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dear colleagues, it is indeed a great honor and a privilege for me to attend the International Conference on Innovation and Renewal of Libraries in the Holy City, Al-Madinah Al-Munawwara. I would like to extend words of appreciation and gratitude to Professor Hassan Awad and Dr. Eba Mohammed Ismail. Very warm greetings to you all on behalf of AFLIA. Dear colleague, distinguished guests, AFLIA is the trusted voice of the African library and information community in Africa's development. I hope that this international conference inspires ideas and discussion around the way that we can together make our world a better place. Ladies and gentlemen, AFLIA, Strengthening Africa, the Africa library sector to drive development. Libraries started out of being all about making books available to different places, schools, communities, research centers, workplace. And very quickly, a paradigm shift occurred when books become easily affordable and obtainable by all. Librarians realized that their profession skill enabled them not to acquire, process, and keep books on shelf, but to also make information contained in books, journal, and other formats accessible to users. When, how, and where they need them. Librarians learn how to match the information needs of their users' knowledge contained within the four walls of library. Then technology happened. Libraries consolidated on the provision of information using digital technology and platform. Yet, time continued to change. Libraries now operate in a highly dynamic, competitive information provision environment, where corporate bodies are also using technology to offer packaging, repackaging, analysis, and access to information. Many students would rather Google it than seek answers from libraries. In climes where library funding is robust, libraries continue to train and retrain to acquire skills that assist in coping with new technology. AFLIA, our continental body, taking cognizance of the development challenges in Africa, the development agenda, and the need for building capacity of librarians to engender innovation that answer to our peculiar need, introduce programs that are driving the rebirth of library, promoting the relevant all over the continent. AFLIA understand that leadership is key in birthing innovation in all library types. Consequently, the AFLIA Leadership Academic, AFLAC, was set up. The first two cohorts admitted only public librarians, which had a serious deficit in such leaders. But the door have been through wide open for librarians in all library types with effect from 2020, inshallah. The academic equipped librarian with skills and knowledge to stand out, take risks, innovate, undertake projects, and partner with their users' community on different levels. The impact of the academy is felt in many countries as libraries now work with farmers to increase their productivities, access credit facilities, offer digital literacy classes for young, not so young people, raise our awareness on health issues such as obesity and teenage pregnancy. academic will soon advertise for intake for the third cohort. Be assured, dear colleagues, that if you apply for admission into the academy, you meet the criteria, you will be admitted. Why the Leadership Academic is for high-level manpower in library, INELI is for the middle-left librarian who wish to learn how to become innovators as they understand that time management, advocacy, the development agenda, innovative thinking about others. This program is being redesignated and take place mainly online for all librarians. The participant in the first and second cohort has introduces innovation in the library that answer directly to the development challenges of their communities. The libraries are now reborn as citizens understand that beyond access, the information which they could get from other places to library are community hubs where they can learn, engage, and get information that can transform their life. AFLIA runs webinars on pertinent topics. I would like to announce that in September 25, we have a webinar with a famous librarian, Professor Ismail, who is living in Washington. AFLIA's YouTube channel has a recording of these webinars, which are aimed at bringing African librarians up to speed in technology concepts that will enable them to burn innovation, keep their libraries relevant and alive in this age of Google it again. The invitation to attend these webinars is open and free.
Dr. Garga, 3 minutes left.
So, partnerships are important for the 21st century, dear colleagues. Library wish to make a greater impact on the life of users committee. AFLIA has led library into partnership to drive attainment of development. AFLIA wants collaboration between different partners, story revival. AFLIA brings in story for children in their local languages. These strides are introducing innovation and renewing interest in African library. Finally, AFLIA is therefore open and welcome partnership from organizations globally as long as the partnership will be mutually beneficial. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Dr. Garga. And now, with our third speaker for this session, Dr. Muhammad Arshad, and he's serving as the professor and chairman of the editorial board of the Urdu Encyclopedia of Islam at the University of Punjab in Pakistan since 2014 until now. Dr. Arshad has earned his PhD in Islamic Studies in 2008 from the university itself, and he also had a postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia from the time 2010, 2012, 2011, and he also was a visiting scholar and professor at the Oxford Center for Islamic Studies at Oxford in the UK. He also went to Turkey to participate in the Religious Foundation Center for Islamic Studies. So Dr. Arshad is also talking about the contribution of Dar al-Ma'arif al-Usmaniya, that's in Pakistan, to the presentation and the preservation of Islamic literary heritage in that part of the world. So the floor is yours, Dr. Arshad. So I think just till the time that the technological part is being arranged, I think this talk is really important because it shows you the specificity of the heritage that they are trying to preserve that is going on with the public libraries over there in Pakistan. So we want to see how they were able to preserve that kind of heritage in that part of the world. Thank you.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyid al-Anbiya wal-Mursaleen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is really a matter of great pleasure for me to participate in this conference. I am highly thankful to Professor Dr. Hassan Awad for inviting me to this conference and providing me an opportunity to meet the scholars from the Arwad and from North Africa and other parts of Africa. I am also much grateful to Professor Dr. Ali Ibrahim Al-Namla for proposing my name to give a presentation on Dairatul Ma'ariful Usmaniya. In the beginning, I must clarify the title of my presentation. The title is the Jahud Dairatul Ma'ariful Usmaniya. It sometimes suggests that it has some connection with the Ottoman Empire. It doesn't have any connection or relation with the Ottoman Empire. Rather, it is an Indian institute which was named after the last ruler of the Dawlatul-Asafiya Hyderabad Dakkan, Mir Osman Ali Khan. It was given a name of Dairatul Ma'arifun Nizamiya. What the last Osman Ali Khan provided a very generous patronage to this institution, and during his era, it was flourished, and it became a very well-known institution in the Muslim world. Therefore, it was named Dairatul Ma'arifun Usmaniya, Hyderabad Dakkan. So just thank to Dr. Sirani.
I just wanted to note that, so.
Attention
yes,
to clarify the title of it. I must say one more thing about the title of this institution. For the last 130 years, in India and Pakistan, in South Indo-Pakistan subcontinent, there have been established several academic and research institutions, and they have a very similarity in their names. For example, Dairatul Ma'ariful Usmaniya, the first name was Dairatul Ma'ariful Nizamiya. Then there was Dairatul Ma'ariful Nomaniya. That was also established in Hyderabad Dakkan by an Afghani origin scholar, Abul Wafa Afghani. And the Dairatul Ma'ariful Nomaniya, its main job was to publish the manuscript and publication on Hanafi jurisprudence, Hanafi fiqh. So then there was another institution, Daira Mu'arif Islami, that was established in 1930 by Dr. Muhammad Iqbal and Professor Muhammad Shafi. That was established on the patron of the Congress of Orientalists. Then there is another institution, Dairatul Mu'ariful Islamiyya Al-Urdiya, to whom I belong. That is another project, that is a part of the Punjab University, and its main focus is to compile and edit and publish an encyclopedia of Islam in Urdu language. So I am sorry, I have taken a few minutes beyond my topic. Dairatul Ma'ariful Usmaniya is one of the most prestigious academic institutions which the Muslim community of South Asia established in the colonial period. My paper examined the contribution of the Daira, which it had made to the preservation. Preservation means to prepare the critical editions of the manuscript and their printing and publishing and their dissemination. First, I would talk briefly about the political, cultural, and religious factors which contributed to the establishment of the Daira. Later, I would describe the contribution which this institution have made to the preservation of Islamic heritage, التراث الإسلامي العربي. Historical background. During the Muslim rule in India, the Muslim community established a very rich tradition of learning, and the madrasas and libraries was the key component of this tradition. The Sultans of Delhi, the founders of the Muslim Empire in India, patronized poets and scholars. The successors of the Sultans were the Mughal emperors, some of whom were dedicated bibliophiles. They have their personal collection libraries and patronized book production. Like the Mughals, the Sultans of Bengal, Deccan, Gujarat, and Malwa were also notable book collectors, as were their own successors, the Nawab of Awadh, Arcot, Bhopal, Rampur, and Tonk, as well as the Nizams of Hyderabad. The eminent scholars and men of letters also had huge collections of Arabic Islamic works. The tradition of book production and collection survived until the 19th century, when modern printing replaced manuscript production in India. The fall of the Mughal Empire and the advent of British colonial rule had a devastating impact on the manuscript collections in India. Colonial administrators like Warren Hastings, Sir William Muir, the author of the Life of Muhammad, the very well-known Orientalist, he was the governor of the United Provinces in India and the chief intelligence officer during the War of Independence of 1857. He was a missionary as well as an Orientalist. And the Sprenger, a German Orientalist, and many others accumulated huge number of manuscripts by hook and crook. They plundered, they make a theft. Sir William Muir and Sprenger, who had served as principal of Delhi College and Madrasa-e-Aliyah, Calcutta, had collected highly valuable Arabic Islamic manuscripts like Kitab al-Maghazi of al-Waqidi, Isaba fi Tamjid al-Sahaba of Ibn Hajar Asqalani, Sirah of Ibn Hisham. Muir and Sprenger first employed these manuscripts for writing their biographies of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and later moved these manuscripts to Germany and Britain. However, Sprenger is a pioneer in the tradition of Arabic Islamic manuscript editing and publishing in India. The Orientalist Muir brothers, they established the Asiatic Society in Bengal, and this society had published several valuable Arabic manuscripts. During the second half of the 19th century, huge number of Arabic, Turkish, Persian, and Urdu manuscripts produced in India were taken away illegally to Europe, especially to Britain and Germany. For example, most of the Arabic and Persian manuscript collections in the British Library are of Indian origin. The poet-philosopher Dr. Muhammad Iqbal lamented the theft of Indian books in European libraries in a memorable couplet. मगर वो इल्म के मोती किताबें अपने आवा की, those pearls of wisdom, books of our ancestors, seeing them in the libraries of the Europe, make my heart itch. The theft of Islamic Arabic manuscripts by the British colonialists caused a severe scarcity of Islamic key sources in India, as they were not available or accessible for authors for scholarly productions. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, the founder of the Aligarh movement, intended to respond to Sir William Muir's portrayal of the Prophet, but the key sources pertaining to early Islamic history were not available. He paid a visit to England to consult the Arabic sources available in the Library of India office. Likewise, well-known historian and theologian Shibli Nomani, who undertook the biography of the second Caliph of Islam, Umar bin Khattab, traveled to Istanbul and Egypt for the collection of required sources. In this historical setting, the Dairatul Ma'arif al-Usmaniya was established in India to make available the Arabic sources for the scholars, for scholarly work. Now I am coming to the establishment of the Daira. In this deplorable situation, a small group of scholars and administrators of the Asfiya state of Hyderabad Deccan conceived a plan for the preservation of Islamic Arabic heritage. Among those who conceived the plan were Nawab Imadul Mulk, Sayyid Hussain Bilgarami, the Director of Public Instruction, Mullah Abdul Qayyum, and Mufti Anwarullah Khan, the founder of Madrasa Nizamiya Hyderabad Deccan. They devised a plan for the preservation of Arabic manuscript, which was adopted by the Nizam Mir Mahbub Ali Khan, the ruler of the Hyderabad, the sixth Nizam, and a monthly grant was approved for the Daira. However, it was his successor, Mir Usman Ali Khan, the last Nizam of Hyderabad Deccan, whose generous patronage made Dairatul Ma'arif a highly remarkable institution of the Muslim world. The founders of the Daira had the first step, established a library. Kutub Khana-e Dawlat-e-Asafiyya. They established a library in 1885 for the collection of Arabic manuscripts. For editing and publishing the manuscript, for the preparation of a critical edition, and for the publishing, Dairatul Ma'arif was established in 1888. With the consultation of the well-known, renowned scholars like Sir Sayyid Ahmad Khan, Shibli Numani, a plan for the acquisition of manuscript and their editing and publishing was evolved. Shibli Numani devised a plan for the acquisition of rare manuscript as well. To materialize the scheme, an academic committee was constituted, which was consisting of very eminent scholars like Professor Abdul Qadir Siddiqui, Munazir Ahsan Gilani, Sayyid Hashim Nadawi, like many other people. And the services of some European scholars, Orientalists like Krenko and Krauss, they were German Orientalists. Their services were acquired to provide the guidance for critical editions of the manuscript. Krenko played a significant role in preparing the critical edition of selected manuscript and supervising the work carried out by the Indian scholars. Arrangements were made for the provision of manuscripts from Indian private collections as well as from European countries like Britain, France, Germany, and Arab countries like Egypt, Istanbul, Iraq, and Hijaz. Ottoman libraries in Hijaz, they provided sufficient material for this project. For the provision of manuscripts, in addition to Professor Krenko, Dr. Muhammad Hamidullah played a very significant role. He made a wonderful contribution for the provision of reproduction form, microfilm, and photostat copies, and some like other things.
2 more minutes, Dr. Arshad.
For the production and critical edition of manuscript, a press was also established. And a criteria for the selection of manuscript was evolved. The Dairatul Ma'arif focused only on the works which were produced during the 1st to 5th centuries Hijra. Now, let me briefly talk about the contribution. During the last 130 years, the Daira has edited and published more than 300 rare books running into 800 volumes, which deal with religious sciences such as hadith, tafsir, fiqh, kalam, philosophy, metaphysics, history, seerah, literature, fine art, geography, and natural sciences like medicine, mathematics, and astronomy. Daira donated its publication to many libraries of India, Egypt, Syria, Iraq, and Hijaz, and some European libraries, institutions like School of Oriental and African Studies, University of Oxford, and some other institutions. Daira received a very warm, Daira also provided free of cost its publication to the eminent scholars of the Muslim world. Daira received, for its contribution, Daira received a very warm appreciation from the Muslim academic circles around the Muslim world. current status, it is very, very unfortunate. Okay, what now its position is becoming very deplorable. Since its inception in 1888, the Dائرة المعارف العثمانية received patronage from the Nizams of Hyderabad Deccan. Dائرة remained an autonomous institute for about 56 years. In 1944, it was affiliated with the Osmania University. A building was constructed at the university campus in 1962, in which the Dائرة is located at present. However, the forced merger of the AFLIA state of Hyderabad Deccan in 1948 had a devastating impact on Dائرة. In the post-AFLIA period, it received funding from the central government of India,
Dr.
the
Arshad,
provincial government of the Andhra Pradesh, and the Osmania University. However, gradually its funding has been decreased. Now it is in a very miserable position. Its staff is consisting only 2 permanent staff member researchers. Previously, there was about 15 to 20 research scholars who had edited the books, who had prepared the critical edition. So this is a very miserable position. And the Indian government, the attitude, it is very hostile to the Muslim minority in India and toward their institution, especially to Osmania University, Ali Garga Muslim University, and Dائرة المعارف الإسلامية. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We have approximately 5 minutes, but I think we can go a little bit further since we didn't start on time. For any questions from the audience, is there any questions for any of our speakers today? Okay, we will start with you, sir. Where's the mic, please? Can you, would you mind standing up so she can see you to get you? Okay, great. Just until you get the mic, then it's up to you.
You want me to speak while stand up?
No, it's up to you. I just wanted her to see you to save time. Okay.
So thank you for this opportunity. I just want to congratulate the project of NLM of Singapore for the employment of all these innovation and all these new strategy which is needed in our library, academic library, and also national library. And I have a small question. My question is, after employing this all strategy and these new devices and these new choices, what about the usage? Is the usage has been increased due to the employment of all these innovation? And thank you.
All right, thank you for the question. To answer it, I can draw your memory back to the earlier charts. Once after we have employed the different strategies, we saw that there is an increase in terms of usage. And we are seeing like 1 million additional loans each year in the past 3 years. In terms of digital loans, we see about 200-300% increase from the previous year. So in that sense, usage-wise of our resources have gone up. We have looked at physical usage in terms of people coming to our library spaces. They have sort of maintained, all right? Because a lot of users now can access our resources anywhere in Singapore. We have also set up a lot of satellite libraries with community partners because we give them digital spaces, digital equipment, so they can go online to access newspapers, magazines, as well as our books. And yes.
Thank you so much. Just to have more time for more questions, and please just go directly to the question, if you don't mind. Yes. At At the back, please.
Right. Hello, everybody. Thank you a lot for your presentation. I have comment about our colleague from Singapore. I mean, the first presentation. Okay, you said that now there are librarians and information specialists everywhere. I think that this is a positive thing. But there is something that we have to emphasize. It's about, the citizens. We have two categories. We've got children who have the readiness for using technology, but sometimes they do not know how to use technology. So we have to train them in a qualitative way so that they will be able to use it, with great consciousness. The second category is about the adults. Aged persons who do not have not acquired the technological literacy. So here we have to interfere as librarians and information specialists in order to make them acquire this technological literacy, even if it is a little bit late, because it's better to begin when we are in an early age. And here, I have just to add something very quickly. It's not a matter of providing huge and diverse technology, but it's better to make people use technology in a qualitative way. Okay, and thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? Okay, the lady next to the cameraman. Where's the mic? Can you raise your hand so they can see you? Okay, thank you. Directly to the question, please, because we only have one more question left, so.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you so much for the informative session, and the question is for Mr. Ian. Turning from the Green Library in 2012 to a digital library, and you have been indicated in your presentation that you are working with the library in a pocket. So are you relying on the bookshots phenomena that has been raised 2016 in the United States, or you are using other things that? The second question is going so much digital.
One question, please.
All right.
Thank you.
That's it.
Quick answer to that is that what we are is agnostic to what users prefer. So if we are looking at how our libraries have been performing, because of the programs that we put into it, like what the previous commentator said, we do put in a lot of programming for the software. So we ensure that people have the digital literacy skills to be able to use different products and be attracted by our resources. But at the same time, we see a lot of increasing use of our physical collections, at the same time exponential use of our digital collections. So in a sense, we are buying both resources and ensuring that both are used for people with different preferences.
Okay.
So we are catering to both. Yeah.
Thank you. No more questions? Okay, at the end of the session, we would like to thank our speakers, Dr. Arshad, Dr. Garga, and Ian, for those informative experiences that we had from all different parts of the world. And inshallah, we'll meet you in another session soon. And we thank all your excellencies for attending the session and all the other guests here. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You can stay. Bismillah. إذا سمحت لي بس أدعو معالي الدكتور عبد السراني لتكريم المشاركين في هذه الجلسة. I just want to ask Professor Abdul Sarani to come and participate with us in the final.